With Bell Labs' breakthrough on silicon came the beginnings of research into cells that would ultimately become the workhorse of solar technology, but there was still one large impediment to real progress.
Unfortunately, you have the fact that the solar cell is still many hundred times too expensive to power the average home, $1 million+ a house. And so basically, these folks are saying, geez, have we accomplished anything?
Unbeknownst to the Bell scientist, however, a major force in Washington, D.C. was waking up to the possibilities of solar power. Looking for more efficient means to power military communications, the Pentagon sent its head of research and development for the Signal Corps, Dr. Hans Ziegler, to be briefed on the new discovery at Bell Labs. Ziegler became a convert to solar energy. The Army was convinced that the invention of Bell Labs was of extreme importance. The question was, for what?
Suddenly, Bell Labs got a order from the Defense Department to start a top-secret investigation in developing a power source for artificial satellites. And they said probably the most important aspect of a satellite is its power source, because without a power source, you don't have much of use of a satellite. So they suggested to the Navy, who got the go-ahead to build the Vanguard, to use silicon solar cells. But the Navy, being conservative as it is, rejected the idea as untried. And Hans Ziegler just blurted back and said, look, you'd have to reject the whole space program, because this was prior to Sputnik. Nothing had been tried because there had never been a launch. The Navy didn't listen, but the Civilian Oversight Committee did, because they wanted satellites that would last a long time in space to make scientific experiments viable. Still, the Navy was extremely reluctant to use solar cells, and it was only after several failures that they agreed to do a dual-powered satellite that the Navy was sure wouldn't work. But surprise of surprises, the chemical batteries gave out in 17 days, and the solar aspect continued to produce for 7 years.
In the 1960s, thanks to the space race, solar technology advanced by leaps and bounds, and thanks to solar power, the space program not only put a man on the moon, it laid the foundation for the network of satellites that run our world today. After a decade in space, people began to ask, why not here on Earth? But every step of the way, the solar concept still faced enormous resistance.